Hi, how's it going? This is Michael Brandon here. I'm a part of the French team, and we looked into France. That was our whole project. We researched French, and we researched the global dimensions and institutions surrounding France. I did uncertainty avoidance, human orientation, and corporations. The reason I'm recording separately from the boys is because basically my laptop just stopped supporting Zoom all of a sudden, and I don't know why. I tried to get a part of the Zoom call, and I tried restarting my computer. It's not working. So, but I'm gonna make the best of it. So I'm just gonna go jump right in because, I only have like 20 minutes, so I'm not gonna try to impede on the boys' time at all. So basically, I did uncertainty avoidance, human orientation, and corporations, like I said. So in terms of uncertainty avoidance, the French are very high, or they're relatively high up on uncertainty avoidance. They have a globe score of 4.43, and they have a differential of 0.27. They're 0.27 greater than the average, right? And so they have a lot of formalized procedures in France, and like one of those procedures is you have to say like bonjour to everyone you meet. It's like a known thing. You have to do it, and if you don't do it, it's just weird. And a lot of these formalized procedures, there's a bunch of them too. I could give you countless examples. Like for example, you're not supposed to eat before bon appetit. When a waitress or a waiter serves you, you're not supposed to eat before bon appetit. It's just a big thing there. And there's just a lot of nuances there, and they prefer that you speak their language. They have this. There's a little bit. I mean, I'll talk about this a little bit later with human orientation, but there's a little bit of xenophobia. There's definitely some xenophobia there, but it doesn't just extend to people or minorities. It extends to all foreigners. So there's a lot of that there that plays into uncertainty avoidance a lot, and so they're also very rigid with scheduling. You're not supposed to you shouldn't be late in France almost ever. They want to plan ahead all the time. They want to make plans weeks ahead. And if you have to cancel, you're supposed to tell them as soon as possible, as far ahead as possible, And they do business very, very slowly, and they make changes very slowly. And you can kind of see that. There's a good example of this is they had this system in France. It was the precursor to the internet, and it was called the Minitel system, or the Minitel online service. And it was it was like the first internet. It was the biggest internet service or online service until World Wide Web came about, right? And so the French loved it. I think they had it for like maybe almost a decade, if not longer. But they had it for a pretty long time. And when the World Wide Web came around, they were very slow to transition over to the World Wide Web, even though it was much better than the Minitel system. And you can kind of see just how that uncertainty avoidance plays into just making changes in the business, right? How it'll actually not cripple, but implicate the business just from them being kind of like in their ways. And so, but the French, they take pride in themselves, and that's like a big thing. And to them, they think they're doing it the best, and that's the French way. And in terms of, I'm going to switch over now. I'll switch gears to human orientation because I don't want to take up the guy's time, like I said. So in human orientation, they are very low in human orientation. Actually, they're 3.4 globe scale or globe score, and that's a negative differential of 0.69. And they, you can clearly see this. Their low human orientation in their social security system. Their social security system is massive, absolutely huge. I think it's not the craziest, like not the biggest in the world. It actually might be one of the biggest in the world, but I know it's not like one of the best in the world. It's got its problems. But, it takes up 25% of their GDP, which is absolutely crazy. I think they spend like 470, in 1 year they spent $470 billion, or billion euros on it. And, and so that social security system, it's not in the way that us Americans think about social security, where social security in the U.S. is kind of just a retirement pension sort of thing, where, you just get money from the government once you retire. In France, it covers everything. It covers Medicare for all. Every French person gets Medicare, no matter what, and they actually spend less on Medicare than we do. They spend 11.1% of their GDP on Medicare, whereas we spend 17.7% of our GDP on Medicare for people. So they're saving money, but they're giving people more coverage. Another thing too is it's retirement pensions. So it does Medicare for all, retirement pensions, big. And then does It does occupational hazards and diseases, so it treats all that kind of stuff. And then it does education, the fourth branch. There's 4 branches, and I'll post a video about this in the Bluescape too, so you can watch it along. You can watch that and kind of get a good idea for yourself. It does education, childcare, and or affordable housing. Yeah, so it does all that stuff. And so there's 4 branches to it, and it's massive. It's a massive system, and it shows you just how like they don't like responsibility isn't on like the people, to take care of each other as much. It's on the government sort of. So they have their own. They want to do their own thing. And then they also have a problem with discrimination in the country, even though they've taken massive steps to like combat it. They're still having a lot of discrimination problems in the country, and a lot of that stems from xenophobia, and a lot of that comes from came after 2015 with the Paris tax. And yeah, it's the government's taken steps. They've banned hate speech, but a lot of what they've done is they've taken a colorblind approach. So it doesn't really like address certain ethnic groups. It kind of just addresses classes of people, So that's how they've gone about it. And then I'm gonna brush over corporations real quick because I'm already at 6 minutes. I don't want to take any more time up. But so the corporations, they're made up normally of people who are in an elite class of people, and those people are like they come from this. It's in the paper. So there's a lot of elite people in corporations, and a lot of those elite people, they have a lot of money, and so their children become elites normally because they go through the same schooling that they went through. And so there's a lot of there's kind of like an elite barrier to entry into like the labor market, and so that kind of negatively impacts corporations because they don't really have as large of a pool to pull from when it comes to labor and talent. So that hurts corporations a lot. And so there's also elite sentiment in there. So some of those people have more money, so they have more time to do these read about these nuances and practice their heritage. And so there's some of that in there, some of that uncertainty when it gets more into the corporation side. And then another thing is the taxes from the social security system, because the taxes are really, really high in that country because they got to pay for it. They got to pay for it somehow. And it's very high. Taxes are very high in the country, and it makes it hard it makes it very expensive for corporations to hire people because taxes are so high, and so it makes it to where corporations are less likely to hire people that they could hire just because of money reasons. And so I'm at 7 minutes right now. I'm over my time, but so that's what I did. I can't be a part of this discussion, unfortunately. The boys are going to have to do this discussion. We talked about things before, and I told them some stuff about it, so we have discussed this. But thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Go learn some more about France.